What is up, CroatianSports.com Nation? Ante here for your morning after Nations League report. Croatia ousted from Nations League last night in Paris in a penalty kick shootout. Went 7 rounds. Had some time to think about what happened this week. Thursday in Split, Sunday night in Paris. And you know what, guys? More good came from bad this week in Nations League. For all of you on the message boards, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, going, Dalic has lost his compass this week. The players played without heart. Stop it. Stop it. We beat a very good French team, a team, all in all, that's better than us on paper in Split 2-0. And we went toe-to-toe with them with our defensive strategy in Paris Sunday night. So, look, this French team has Mbappe, who's going to win a Ballon d'Or, maybe multiple in the next couple years. They have who plays for Real Madrid, as you guys know. Tuchemende, Real Madrid. Camavinga, Real Madrid. Dembele, who's killing it for PSG in Champions League this year. All these guys are young, fast. They have speed, and we contain them. This Croatian defense with Gvardiol, Stanisic, with DCC, with Šutalo, we held them to one open field goal in 210 minutes. In 210 minutes in the same week, we held France to one open field goal. That's impressive, guys. Let's not look past that. That free kick, the free kick by Olise went in. What are you going to do? When do free kicks ever go in like that? Free kicks are rare. It happens. Shit. What are you going to do? That changed the whole game in the 50th minute. But look, our strategy after a 2-0 win in Split was to bunker. If that game ends 1-0 for France, or we win in penalty kicks and we go on to play Spain in the semifinal, we're all happy today. We're happy that we beat France and whatnot, but this game has a fine line of margins these days. And you know what? Dalic's plan to play bunker ball, it didn't work last night. It didn't work. But check this out. For three halves against this French team, we kept them scoreless. Mbappe didn't score against us. First 3 halves, absolutely scoreless. Like, we have to congratulate our team and our defense for that. Now, here's some news that you guys aren't going to like. And this is a reality check, and this is why I'm kind of a little bit happy and optimistic on the strategy side of things of why we didn't go through. I'm always rooting for our guys to go through, but this is a good reality check. This Croatian side, as it is today, is not a top 4 or 5 European side. Spain, Germany, Portugal, France, I would even throw England in there, are all better top to bottom teams than we are, and they're more complete. The common denominator for those teams is they have speed, they have wingers, and they play much faster than us. Much faster than us. And, we've been playing midfield possession ball for under Dalic for 10 years, and it's worked many times. And I think now as the game progresses with the Nico Williamses of Spain, the Mbappes of France, Yamin Yamal, we need to get faster as a nation. I think this is going to be a good wake-up call going into our World Cup qualifiers in June. But like I said, we kept this French team scoreless for 3 halves, and they only scored 2 goals against us in 210 minutes. That's impressive. We all, as fans, I think we're pretty happy sitting there 0-0 in Paris last night going, wow, we're 45 minutes away from shutting out this French team. Like, that's impressive. We were all sitting pretty, but you know what? This French team can score 3 goals within 15 minutes against anyone. We've seen them do it at Euro. We've seen them do it at the World Cup. We know they can score, and guess what? We couldn't withstand their fire. And we lose 1-0. We win in penalty kicks. We're all happy campers this morning, but it didn't happen, and we had no business in that game. And what I mean by no business in that game is in Paris, we had 0 shots on goal, and we didn't have 1 corner. What are you supposed to do there? So my thinking is Dalic played bunker ball, saying, hey, guys, let's play to France only getting 1 goal tonight, get back on the plane, go back to Zagreb. It didn't happen. My only question is, because I was happy with the lineup, I'm happy that Sučić came in for Baturina. My thought was, if you're going to play bunker ball, why not go 2010-11 Mourinho and play a 5-5-0 and really bunker and bring in a Jakic as a CDM alongside Sucic instead of Kramaric? Why not maybe play without a striker? Why not really compact it? Because we didn't do anything offensively last night. So that's the only thing I was kind of wondering is, was Dalic really playing bunker ball? Because he didn't put the lineup for a true bunker ball because we didn't really have any counters or any of that stuff. So we played defensively, but it wasn't a full defensive lineup. So I was a little confused about that. I thought we'd come out and counter a little bit more, but that just didn't happen. Another confusing thing is the Modric Kovacic double substitution in the 80th minute when France scored their second goal. I mean, that he was basically throwing in the white towel for that one. So I was going, oh, Kovacic and Modric, our whole midfield identity is now gone. And that's my point. And a lot of Croatians around the world like, oh, Nations League is a trophy. We want to win this tournament. Nations League can't even wipe the shoes of Euro and World Cup. So I need everyone to just stop with that. There's no chance in hell if that was a World Cup or Euro quarterfinal that Modric and Kovacic would be getting subbed out of a tie game in the 80th minute. There's no chance in hell, and that's my point. That's my scientific point to why Nations League is definitely a whole tier below a real tournament game. So, do I want Croatia to win? Of course, I want them to win all these games, but do not think for 1 second that Nations League is even in the same realm as a Euro tournament or a World Cup. Please, like I need you to stop. I see all the comments on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter going, oh, what a miss last night. We're going to be fine, guys. We're going to be fine. My only bummer is if we got past France last night, we would have had a semifinal in Stuttgart in Germany, in the south of Germany this June, which basically would have been a home game for us, as so many Croatians already live in Munich or in Stuttgart, in Zurich, in Austria. They come up from Zagreb. It would have been a home game for us, which would have been pretty cool. But look, to my point, I'm saying this objectively. We're not beating Spain in a one-leg semifinal on neutral field. It's just not happening. They're the best team in Europe right now, and we have some work to do. But we know what work we need to do with that. So, what this game means that we lost to France is we now know our World Cup qualifying group, and this is something I was rooting for. We now have a 5-team group, us included, with Czechia, former Czech Republic, Montenegro, Faroe Islands, and Gibraltar. So we start that qualifying in June. Look, Faroe Islands, Gibraltar, if you can't beat them twice by 2 goals or more, forget about it. What are we doing there? So we're in a group with Czech and Montenegro, basically. I love the group for World Cup qualifying. Hopefully we could just get up on the front foot early and make it happen. But all I care about is World Cup qualifying. We're in North America next summer, 2026. So many Croatians in America, in New York, Chicago, LA, Toronto, Canada. This is going to be a beautiful send-off for Modric, for Perisic, for Kramaric, for Dalic, and I think it's going to be a great tournament for the North American diaspora out there. But going back to tactics really quick, we definitely missed a healthy Luka Sucic this week. He could have played our number 10 instead of Baturina at the Polio game in Split. We definitely missed him. He gives us a true number 10. He gives us shots outside the box. He gives us one-on-one capability in the middle of the field and speed. He would have been paired nicely with in-form Perisic at Poljud, and it just didn't happen. So I'm looking forward to that. But we need to start incorporating these young players that can play the modern game quickly. That's what we're missing. We're just too slow. We're too slow up the middle of the field, and I loved Perisic on Thursday. He was prime time Ivan Perisic. I mean, taking guys on the left side. He had that assist to Budimir. He had that fantastic shot from inside the box. Perisic will still have the goods for another year, so I'm happy about that. But we need to figure something out on the right wing. We've either played with only one true winger or 0 wingers for the past couple of years, and that's a problem in the modern game, and that's something that Dalic probably doesn't have enough time frame to work on. But we need to figure out what to do on that right side. We can't play Kramaric or Vlasic or Mario Pasalic out there. They're not wingers. So can a Marko Pasalic do something magical in the MLS this year for Orlando, where we bring him back to the national side and he plays international ball? Piazza. We have to look at, other guys in the U21 and U19 ranks. They're still a few years out, but we need to figure out someone in the next year to uh, support Perisic on the opposite side. We're going too far up the middle, and we need to figure out what to do on the winger side. That's my number one list, and that's been number one priority for me for this Croatian side and for Dalic for years now. So I'm happy you got Perisic back. Having Perisic back is huge, especially if he can play like he played at Polju this week. But he's going to have off days too. So we need to figure out what to do on that right side. But going back to Nations League, we overperformed as a whole this tournament, making it to a penalty kick shootout in the quarterfinals. We've got to remember we had a shit campaign against Portugal, Scotland, and Poland, like almost disastrous, where we almost didn't even qualify for the knockout rounds. But look, guys, I mentioned this earlier. Spain went to a penalty kick shootout with the Dutch. They got through. Fine line of margins there. Um, Germany took care of Italy by 1 goal in aggregate, and then Portugal, Denmark. You would think Portugal's a much better side. They went to extra time as well. So all these teams, they're kind of in the same group, but I would put us below the Frances. I would put us below the Germany, Spains, even Portugal, England. They just have faster, younger players, and back to my winger point, we just need to be able to play either faster counterattacks or just faster down the line, like go, 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 go. And we just don't have that. And we need to figure that out going into the 2026 World Cup. But like I said, Modric, Kovacic subs in the 80th for Moro and Jakic. Like, that was comical to me, throwing in the white towel. Even more comical, the penalty kick shootout, because we had our entire A team gone. Modric was gone, Perisic, Kramaric, Gvardiol was out of the game already. Check out this penalty kick. This is more comical than anything, but we had 7 rounds of penalties, and it went Baturina, Moro, who has no business on this team, Ivanovic, who skied it into the 40th row, Mario Pasalic, who does well for Atalanta, and then Kristian Jakic, DCC, and Stanisic. Baturina, Moro, Ivanovic, Pasalic, Jakic, DCC, and Stanisic. Like, that was our penalty kick lineup. Like, come on, guys. We had no business in that game last night. France should have scored 3 or 4 goals the way we played. We didn't play a true bunker. But if Dalic gets out of there, because he played for a result, he didn't play for a win. He played for just a result to get out of Paris, on aggregate, which changes the mindset of the game. It's hard to play it's hard to play after a 2-0 first leg win on aggregate, because now you're playing the aggregate score instead of playing a team straight up. Would we have played better last night in France if we were on the front foot and that was the first leg? Of course we would have. But you know what they say in sports? A 2-goal lead is the absolute worst lead you can have in sports. And, look what happened. But look, you got to be proud of our guys. Look, I'm going down my list. Perisic had the goods in Split, and he was taken out of that game in Paris because we played a defensive game. Budimir, it shows that if you can get him service from the wings, he's going to be fine. He's going to score goals with his head, and that's what happened in Split. Gvardiol, finally we've got a good defensive Gvardiol, for the first time in what seems over a year. So that's awesome. And then Livaković, buddy, you still scare the shit out of me. You do. You still scare the shit out of me, but you play like a world-class keeper in 210 minutes of France this week. If you played anything below that, they would have scored 4, 5, 6 goals, and we would have been in trouble, and it wouldn't have even been a tie. So bravo to Livaković. But look, guys, this is a good France team. They're a top 5 footballing nation in the world right now with all their talent. We went toe-to-toe with them in Nations League. We proved that Perisic still has the goods. I can't stress that enough. But with Modric and Kovacic coming off early, I know they had 2 games in 4 days. But are we going to have to start really resting them in World Cup qualifying? We have a light group with Faroe Islands, Gibraltar, in those games. Like, do we even play them in those games? Um, it's my firm belief that Perisic and Modric will retire at the 2026 World Cup. Um, permitting qualification. I think we're going to get there, of course. But do we have to start resting these guys? Was two games in 4 days too much for them to play, a full 90? It looks like it was. That's something to keep an eye on. But look, so much good came out of this week. So for all of you saying, oh, our players didn't play with heart, they didn't go out for a goal. That wasn't the game plan. The game plan was to bunker, which it was successful for 3 halves against France. We kept them scoreless. That's impressive. That's impressive, guys. So we gotta give it up to our team. It didn't pan out in that second half. That free kick killed us. That changed the whole game. France was on the front foot. We did nothing offensively. Lucky we made it to a penalty kick shootout, but we have to be impressed with what we got this week. Our defense stood on its head. Livaković stood on its head. Perisic, absolutely loved him in Split, but we need to find a proper number 10 to play in front of Luka Modric next year. I think that's going to be Sucic. He's had some health problems. We have to figure out what we're going to do on the right side, on the right-sided winger. The modern game is quick. It's speedy. There's a lot of one-on-one play on the wings. We have to figure out something there. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to score enough goals to deal with the Brazils and the Argentinas, the Englands, Portugal's, Germany's, all those teams. So, a lot of good happened this week, guys. A lot of good. I'm really excited for this qualifying group in June. And I think we have a lot to look forward to with Sucic, Paturina, Matanovic coming back. Look, Ivanovic played yesterday. He got 2 caps this week. He's been killing in Belgium. Absolute shit penalty kick, but it is what it is. But we did well this week. The plan was good in Paris. We just didn't execute it. We were about 30 minutes off from executing, but Dalic was close. He's got to pray a little hard in Medjugorje, just as we all do. But just sucks that we don't get a game in Stuttgart in the south of Germany in June, but it's okay. I think that would have been a waste of a harder World Cup qualifying group with Ukraine. I don't think we beat Spain. Sorry to say that, but a lot to look forward to. Let's go shopping for that right winger. We got to do something there. So love you all. Ante Kvartić, CroatianSports.com. See you guys soon.